Digital Ventures is not an ad agency.
I often say that service to humanity is man's greatest work in life. We get back in direct proportion to what we give to the universe. But you got to give if you want to get. That's the law.
I know some people in the ad agency business. Some of them are very good people. There are some actually good, quote, agencies out there. But agencies look at things in a very different way. Most of them are charging you for their services based on some sort of a fee or percentage structure of your spend, how much you spend on advertising, not based on the results or how much money you're making off of the marketing. And I think that's a very self-serving model. You know, if I come to you and I say, you know what, I think you should spend $10,000, and I'm getting 10 or 15 or 20% of that $10,000, what is my motivation? My motivation is to get you to spend $20,000 and then $50,000 and then $100,000, because it's the only way I can grow my company. I can grow my revenue is to get more clients or get my existing clients to spend more advertising dollars. And I think that's a twisted model. Whereas if I come to you and I say, you know, I think you should be investing, go back to that, I think you should be investing in client acquisition. And once we know the numbers, let's say we figure out it costs $500 for you to get a client that's worth $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 for you. And I say, I think you should be investing $500 as many times a day as you can possibly invest $500. And every time that works, I'm going to charge you, you know, $100 or whatever that, you know, the margin is on that lead. Well, then you and I are actually in business and in partnership together now, not legally in your entity, but we're both living based on the same motive. We both want the business to grow so that we both make more money. That's different. And that's dramatically different with how Digital Ventures and the whole Harbor City story started. Was, you know, I've been around this performance marketing space for many years, and I've been growing companies now for almost 30 years. And as an entrepreneur, you live and die by your ability to produce profits and results. Otherwise, you're a nonprofit. And I've run some of those before. They weren't really nonprofits, but they didn't make a profit, you know. And so you either make a profit or you go out of business. Well, I think that your motivation as a marketing service, which is what Digital Ventures team really provides, is that team at Digital Ventures specializes in top line growth, client acquisition, but doing it in a predictable, reliable, and measurable way that is fully aligned with the client's goals, not with the company's goals. Not just, oh, we're going to get them to spend more money so we can make more commission or percentage off of that ad spend. No. The only way that our company makes money is if we produce results for you. And when we produce results for you, you make money, we make money. Guess what both of us are sitting around doing? We're trying to figure out how can we find more dollars to invest in going and getting more leads and more prospects and more clients. That's perfect. As long as we're in alignment, then your business will grow and our business will grow. At the end of the day, we call it lead generation, but really just think of it as top line growth or client acquisition. We help get more customers or clients in a predictable way, measurable way. When you have people that come to you, one of the things is they don't know their numbers. When they come in, they don't know what it costs them currently to get a client. Maybe they don't know what the lifetime value is. So that's one of the things. But one of the other things that we often see is that they don't have a mechanism, a process that is not relying on them heavy lifting like people so much, but they don't have a process for converting a scaled flow of leads into clients. So maybe they've gone out there and built that business up through sheer muscle, right? They've got a sales force, they've got people calling, they've done some things right, they've like all of us in business, they've had some luck, timing, but they've done enough right to get the business 3 million a year, 10 million a year, 20 million a year in sales, whatever it is that they've hit a plateau and they're trying to figure out, how do I really scale this thing? I want to, open another call center with 100 people in it. How do I make sure that those 100 people have someone to talk to every single minute of the day? Those are the kind of people that come to us and say, I want 500 leads a day, 1,000 leads a day, 2,000 leads a day in this particular category. And when we're thinking about that, what we're thinking is, do you really have the ability to capitalize on those leads if we bring them to you? And we find that a lot of people do not. They're just simply not prepared for that kind of volume yet. And so our team will sit down with them and help them map out. We're very big, even you can see in this room, we've got an entire room wall to wall with whiteboard. We'll sit down with a client and whiteboard out what that process is, going out there first and figuring out what is it that they need to happen to feel like they won. And that generally is closing a sale. But they may say, you know what, we know we can close the sale if we can get on the phone. So for them, they're trying to get X number of qualified prospects on the phone. That's the win that we're trying to ultimately achieve for them. So we say, well, in order to get on the phone, then they need to have a scheduling tool. And you would want, if you're going to scale, you would want that to be a self-serve or automated process as much as possible. So we would say, well, you need a scheduling tool. Well, where does that show up in the marketing process, or what we call a funnel? This page. And say, well, before they schedule an appointment, they need to know some things. They need to have jumped over certain hurdles or through certain hoops to prove by self-selection that they really are a qualified lead or prospect. So how do we do that? Well, it could be asking them some questions in a questionnaire. It could be having them watch a video that defines what the qualifications are for doing business with you. And you've taken them through, so they're really a prospect. So then you say, well, before they're really a prospect, they have to be convinced that they would want what it is that we do, the solution that we provide to the problem that they're likely suffering from. And so you would want some kind of an education-based process. Well, that could be a webinar, could be a video, could be a series of videos, it could be a variety of things. But you want those tools, again, to be scalable. It can't be restricted purely by human capital, because you're going to hit a bottleneck at some point in your business. If the entire conversion process is built based on human effort. Certainly you can't scale fast, or as fast as a lot of businesses would like to. Certainly not as fast as we can take it, because we've seen where we take these campaigns. Once we go through our testing process, when we know that we're generating a lead at a positive ROI, and those leads are bringing you new customers at a positive ROI, well, then we just take the caps off and push the throttle forward. It's all win from there. And so you have to have all of these components in place in what we call a marketing funnel or a conversion system that will take people all the way back from, I'm casually looking on the internet, or because I've been looking around or asking certain questions, the Digital Ventures team is able to target me and get in front of me with the right message. Now I'm interested enough to request a piece of information, attend a webinar, watch a video, download a PDF, do something. Now I'm at this stage, now I'm at this stage, and it's just a filtering process. And we call them a marketing funnel because it looks very much like a funnel. You have a big, gigantic opening at the top, and there's, 10 or 20 or 50,000 people dropping in the top, looking at a page, and then a certain percentage of them, 8 to 12 to 15 to 20% or 30% of them that are registering for more information or going to the next step. And then of those people, there's a narrowing and narrowing and narrowing, so that those 20, 50, 100 phone salespeople that you have, or customer service reps, or whatever it is, or your website that's going to do the converting for you, a webinar, etc., so that only the best prospects are showing up. And so we find that a huge gap is when businesses come to Digital Ventures, they're missing that piece. They have the desire, they've got a good product or service, they just suck at marketing, and they don't have a way to fully capitalize on the scale. So we can take them through the whole process and then build that. One of these, when it's working well, is really it's magical, because it's a combination of the web and email and SMS and telephone calls and voicemails and all of these components, maybe in-person visits, maybe physical mail going out. All of it gets put together, and we have the tools. That's one of the things that's really good is our team. What we call it, we eat our own dog food. So like in our own marketing, we do this stuff. We don't go tell people you should do something that we don't even do ourselves in our own business. We actively grow our core business by using these same strategies, as well as the businesses that we invest in and have acquired. We take those teams through that same process. You've got to have a scalable client acquisition and conversion process, and then a company like ours, with the ability to really produce unlimited or at least highly scaled growth, you can take advantage of it.